Welcome to the Football Show on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. I'm Peter Martin. Tam McManus is here, and of course the second best tennis player on the show is here with us too, Alan Rough. So there we are. We've got the whole team together. Really looking forward. Well, he's the second best because I've beaten him already, so he doesn't want to play
singles. He's played each other at singles.
Yeah, and he doesn't want to play again. So I just thought I'd tell you.
I don't want to play at singles again.
Because I'm 71 years of age. and he has me running about all other places.
So it's a good problem. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, great to have Ruffy and Tam here with us, and there's lots of things to cram into the show. Thank you to all of you for joining us and hitting the subscribe button. More and more people not only joining us in the show, but consuming all of our unique video content, including, of course, the situation that happens every day, which is news. It's absolutely free to join us, and of course you get our reporters Kerry and Adam giving you all the latest from the managers and players in the Scottish Premiership. I've got to start off by saying thank you very much to John Gall, the chairman of Darvel, because Ruffy, fresh this morning, a huge box, a delivery of steak and haggis pies, steak and onion pies, the famous Kelly steak pie, and as you can see, it's absolutely sensational. The pictures of the stuff that was delivered, Empire biscuits, there you are, cream cakes, you name it. Look at it all. I just laid it all out there with the programme for Darvel at Aberdeen, steak bridies, honestly, and there's the famous Kilmarnock pie. And I've got to thank John and all his team for delivering it so swiftly. There is nothing better. And by the way, can I just say something? Pancakes, square sausage, Ruffy. And can I just say something to you? The staff were ecstatic. And there's still some left for you guys as well. So,
lucky I got cream bun here.
So thank you to John. Absolutely sensational. Doesn't get any better than that, Ruffy, when somebody takes care of us.
No, it's fantastic. I like a steak pie. You know, I like.
Yeah.
I like them. I like the haggis ones as well.
Oh, steak and haggis are.
Yeah.
Are there any left?
No. No, but there are. There's more. There's more than a few in there. Listen, we always throw out a wee quiz question. We'll give you the answer at the end of the programme, and here is today's quiz question, which I reckon will stump these two as well. When was the last time Newcastle won the top flight English title? If you think you know the answer, then fire it out. If you've Googled it or you look it up, then you don't win. Simple as that. We'll give you the answer at the end. What about the competition? It's still ongoing. Here's Kerry.
It's another fantastic competition from PLZ Soccer. If you would like to win this replica Luka Modric shirt, then all you have to do is answer this simple question. Just tell us, which country does Luka Modric play for? Post your answer in the comment section below, and to double your chances of winning, don't forget to hit the subscribe button on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck with that. We'll be speaking to Adam Binney, our reporter, very shortly. But first and foremost, that big news. Just before we get to it, by the way, Ruffy, I know lots of people like to drop messages to us non-stop, you know, just highlighting a few things. And I thought it was only right that we highlight this little email that came in. It said, I was at St Mirren's Stadium last night to see my oldest granddaughter, Callie Maroney, who will be 10 in June. She signed for the girls team at St Mirren. To say I was proud doesn't express how truly proud I am. Can't emphasise how proud and how much we love her, and hope she does well, but hope she has fun and enjoyment in football and the sport we all love. Look at that picture, Ruffy. She's a big Liverpool fan of Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk. They're her favourites. Can you give her a wee mention on the show and wish her well? Thank you and appreciation of your support. That's Paul Brady. That's great, isn't it, when you see pictures like that?
It's fantastic, and girls football has really kicked off, and congratulations to all the women's teams and the national side. Unfortunately, they never qualified for the big tournament that's coming up, but they've really caught the imagination of kids at school, and it's great to see it growing year on year.
Yeah, okay, Rangers against Ross County is taking place tomorrow. Rangers on a really good run, and of course everybody was wondering when they were going to unveil Nico Raskin, and he is at Ibrox, and he was talking to the assembled members of the press today about, of course, signing on the dotted line.
Oh, I want to be champion for sure. I want to know what it means to be champion. I want to win trophies, because I know we got few trophies here also with the cup. So, and for sure I want to make something in the Europe. I want to play Champions League. I never played Champions League. I played Europa League. So we play against Rangers and in Europa League. But now I want to play Champions League, and compete in Champions League, not just playing, just make something, make a nice story.
Yeah, brilliant. Good luck to the lad. You can tell, first of all, the real attraction I think that he admitted to was the fact that, seeing Rangers go all the way to Europa League, the stature of the club's up there, he wants to be a part of it, and great to see him with a bit of ambition.
Yes, and it's good, when our two top teams play in the big competitions, and when you're trying to attract a player in, that's the thing that can sway it. Obviously the two of them are massive clubs. Rangers are a massive club, great facilities, but for somebody, who hasn't played European football to go into the play against Real Madrid, Barcelona, Man City, whoever, it's a big attraction. It's an easier sign than it is, than if you're not playing top grade football. So I think the Rangers supporters will be looking for him. It's different for, they've got away from bringing in loans, and they've got away from bringing in players who've done it, like Ramsey and all that, and they're now concentrating in 3-4 year packages, which I think is only good for the club.
Yeah, and of course Michael Beale himself, the Rangers manager, is looking for players that can give him a core that are definite starters in his team week in, week out.
Any team that's successful in any league, probably 6 or 7 of the outfield players play over 90% of the games. I think if you look at teams that do well and win things and go on runs, that's the case. And earlier in the season, both the previous manager and myself have not had that, and I think that gives the team a strong foundation, and then you can try things from a confidence place. I think when a team's doing well, it's easy to make 2 or 3 changes or change tactics slightly. When you're not doing so well, that seems so difficult.
You can understand exactly what Michael Beale's saying there, Tam, because quite simply, when you've got a successful team, you can usually go keeper, back 4, rhyme them off, and then there's every 1 or 2 that's the odd tweak.
Yeah, I think it's important to have a goalkeeper in a stable back 4. I think that's very important. You look at the Arsenal team with George Graham, and that was a goalkeeper in the back 4, and they were very successful. I don't think it's even changed since then. Maybe 2 midfield players that play every week and a striker, or 2 strikers that play every week. So yeah, he's right, maybe 6 or 7 that's guaranteed, and you can go and change 1 or 2 players. You don't have to change all the time. If you're changing 5-6 players every game, you've got no continuity at all.
Yeah, and usually at that point it builds up a bit of camaraderie, an understanding of each other as well, Ruffy.
Yeah, there's nothing better, if you get to know, the player that you're playing beside, you get to know their strengths and weaknesses, and that counts in the back 4 and the midfield and 2 guys up front. If you can read telepathic, like you see strikers, the ball will get put into the box and one of them dummies it, but the other one knows what he's going to do, and they react to it differently, and it can only be good for the club if you get consistency, and everybody wants to play, nobody wants to sit on the bench, everybody wants a part of a winning side.
Yeah, over and above that, Michael Beale was talking about the fact that he reckons Scottish football, our game, is in a good place, and we should promote it more in his mind. I tend to agree with him. I don't think we really market it as well as we should. There are a number of reasons why, and I think I've made that clear on why sometimes we get it so wrong in this small, sometimes backward country. But I do think he's right. Within reason, though, I don't think we should lie about the standard of the football, and I think it's in a good place for Rangers and Celtic. It's not in a good place, good place for Hearts, but it's not a good place for everybody else, because the results just actually laid out tell you that we're not in a good place in the European standings.
Yeah, I think that Celtic Rangers are in a good place. I think both are strong as they've been in a long time. I think with Rangers going to the Europa League run, last year, Celtic qualifying for the Champions League, both obviously qualifying for the Champions League. It shows you they two are doing well. I think Hearts are a good team as well, but I think underneath that, I think the standard's poor. And that's not me talking during the game. I love to talk Scottish football up. I want all our teams to do well. But you see Hearts the other night, they're the third force, and I think they're a clear third force this season. And Rangers absolutely battered them. 3-0 flattered them. It could have been 7-8. And when you see the gap between the top 2 and them, and then the gap between Hearts and the rest, I don't think that's great. But for Celtic Rangers, you're right, you should be promoting Scottish football. And it was disappointing that the game wasn't on live all night, but I think if you're a fan of the other teams, then I don't think you're happy the way your team's playing.
Yeah, well, Adam Binney was out there to see Nico Raskin. It's another player that I think Michael Beale certainly wants him to be pushing for a starting place and to show everybody his quality.
Yeah, we heard Michael Beale talking yesterday about how Nico Raskin will have to battle with Glenn Kamara for that starting position, but we asked Raskin today where his favourite position would be, because we know that Michael Beale just likes to try and categorise his midfielders into 6, 8, 10, sometimes a bit of a hybrid of both. Raskin was saying that whether it's 6, whether it's 8, whether it's anywhere in the pitch, he's happy to play. And by the sounds of it, he had a conversation with Michael Beale before joining the club. Their views are aligned in the way football should be played. The tactics that they both enjoy to implement in their game styles are very similar. So I think Michael Beale was a decisive factor in Nico Raskin choosing to join Rangers.
Yeah, I know the manager will obviously have given him the whole sales pitch, which is look at the stadium, look at the fan base. But I think the real talking point was Nicholas himself talking about the attraction of Rangers because of what they've been achieving in Europe. People in other clubs in Europe have taken notice of what Rangers have done.
Yeah, Nico, of course, rather excited at the prospect of playing European football. He was telling us how much he's enjoyed playing Europa League football to date, but that prospect of playing in the Champions League against the best teams in the world and the best players in the world is absolutely one of the incentives that made him make that trip to Glasgow. He spoke about playing against Rangers before, and he knows the size of the club. He actually described Rangers as the big brother to Standard Liège. He says when he was having a conversation with Ross Wilson, he was telling him about the club's history, the fans and the culture. He essentially basically just came to the conclusion that Rangers were an amplified version of Standard Liège over in Belgium.
Yeah, so we can all understand, I think 100%, we can all understand the attraction of Rangers. What's his fitness like? How likely is he, Adam, to be ready to rock and roll soon? Is he going to have to bide his time and just impress the manager in training? Or do you get the sense that he's fit, raring to go?
Yeah, he seems like he certainly said that he was fit to play. The paperwork today for, I believe it was his work permit or an SFA registration, I'm not sure which one it was, came through this afternoon, so he revealed in the press conference that he would be in the squad. He's been told that already, so he'll be in the squad for tomorrow's match at home against Ross County. Don't think Michael Beale will stick him in straight from the start. Rangers are playing very well at the minute, so it'd be strange for him to try and break up that midfield that are playing so well. Although he did do it with Todd Cantwell, if you remember last weekend. Ross Cantwell came straight into the starting 11, so I'd be surprised to see him start. But yeah, he told us today that he'll definitely be in tomorrow's squad. Yeah,
excellent to see Adam out there. He is live there, but as you know with Adam, he's got another 440 pieces to do in the show. Tam, we're only on for 3 minutes. He's on for about 57 of the minutes, isn't he?
Yes, he loves it. He's a hard worker, Adam. He's doing well, but he needs to sort that barn out. He needs to get some sort of hairspray on it, just to keep it in place. It is all other show. Yeah, absolutely. He really does look as if he could easily make it into a 1980s new wave group, doesn't he, Ruffy?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with it. Don't mind the side shed.
Yeah,
I'm quite happy with it.
Well, the reason why you don't have I'm so glad we don't have him on live now.
We hope.
Yeah, I'm so.
Is that first or second he's pointing to there?
Brilliant. Great to hear from Adam out there at Ibrox. You're getting it live, you're getting up to the minute reports, you're also hearing from the Rangers player who was unveiled today, and of course Michael Beale. If you do hit the subscribe button, you'll get all our unique content, and of course, as we say, it's uncensored, unbiased and unmatched 6 days a week. We have programming for you, but of course not forgetting Adam and Kerry out there at the reports. We also have everyone out at the matches, and if you want to and you want to keep up to date with all the news that's breaking, 7 days 24/7, download the app, and all you have to do is listen, if Ruffy can do it, anybody can do it. Is that fair?
Yeah, that is fair.
You get all the breaking news on the app, and over and above that, if you hit the live football show, as you can see, it's actually on there right now. You can watch it on your phone, your tablet or your PC, and if you miss a show, you can catch up at your leisure on our YouTube channel. So great to hear Adam there. As far as County are concerned, 5 points out of a possible 15 in the last 5 games. They've never won at Ibrox, but they do have that sense. I just get the feeling that the stirrings are starting as County start to say, okay, might be a free hit at Ibrox tomorrow, but we are now starting to make that push to try and get away from the bottom.
Yeah, Malky will be encouraged by the win in midweek. I don't think deep down he'll imagine that he's going to go to Ibrox and win that game. But what he will do to his players and try and convince his players that we can go down and put in a performance, you know, don't let Rangers win 3, 4, 5, nothing, you know, just put in a strong performance. Come away for the game with a wee bit of credibility, and then when you come against the teams that you want to beat, you know, that's when he'll be saying to his players, this is the 3 points we want, not Ibrox.
Yeah, okay. I've gone Rangers to win 4-0, Ruffy. What about you?
I've went 3-0 Rangers.
I think I've went 4-0 Peter. You want to check that?
Yeah, I'm going to check that because
3-0 or 4-0 I've went.
Yeah, I'm just looking at you, Tam, to see. No, you haven't posted anything yet, Tam. You've just been looking to see what everybody else is doing. Did you?
Oh, so you
did. I'm just testing you. You've gone Rangers 4-0 as well. Okay. Yep, absolutely top drawer. Listen, a little bit of breaking news just coming out before we start to talk about the next game. Give us your thoughts on Rangers against Ross County, but some breaking news that's just come out following a disciplinary tribunal. Queen's Park have been ejected from the Scottish Cup for a breach of competition rule 12.5 relating to player eligibility. Livingston will now face Inverness Caledonian Thistle in the 5th round, Ruffy. No surprise, really. It's not exactly setting a precedent.
We did both say it and he said they wouldn't.
Yeah.
No, I said you would look at the circumstances.
There was no circumstances.
There was no circumstances.
Well, there was a wee bit. There was a wee bit.
Yeah.
Well, they thought he was registered after the first game, which was postponed. But obviously, there's a precedent there from other teams down the years, so you can't break that. So I feel disappointed for them, really, you know, to go up there and have a real
sickening for the players and
for a good, confident win. You know, it'll be interesting to see if Queen's Park give them their bonus money back.
Yeah, it's always about the dosh for them, isn't it? Anyway, that's a bit of bad news for Queen's Park, but Inverness back in the Scottish Cup, and they'll face Livingston. So from there, of course, Ange Postecoglou is getting his Celtic side ready for the Sunday match against St Johnstone. I don't think anybody has any great surprise that ahead of this match, lots of people are looking at the players that he has at his disposal and how sometimes, as Michael Beale mentioned there, you know, you've got a core of 6 or 7 players who are definite starters, but the Celtic manager says there's not one single player that's his favourite.
Kyogo, it's not just about his goals, it's his work rate, his movement the other night I thought was exceptional in terms of, you know, in a very congested area he was still finding pockets of space to break through, and I thought we really found him really well as we have in Wednesday's game. So, you know, there's no I know that people love the cliches, there's no, you know, best 11, there's no one that's undroppable, there's no one that's my favourite.
Yeah, well, I think the players are fairly clear on him because, you know, there's been situations where we've watched some players score 1, 2, maybe even 3 goals, and suddenly they're not in the team for the next game.
Yeah, but the good management side of that is he's actually telling them why they're not in the team. He's actually giving them a reason, whether it be like, you've done particularly well here, I'm going to leave you out for 2 or 3 weeks just to get your fitness back up again, have a relax, you know, take away from the pressures of trying to win games all the time, and it's working. Nobody can complain about it, and anybody that's left it, if it's Jota, if it's Abada, you know, O'Reilly, you know, they come back in and they're just as good as what they were before he took them out. I would say, I know he's saying he's not got any favourites, but I would say McGregor and Joe Hart are 2 that are in every week. I don't see him tampering with his goalkeeper very much either, so yeah. I think he's more than happy with Joe Hart because the other 2 I don't think are up to the scratch of him.
Yeah, and I had a look at the overall performance, Tam. Celtic, since losing to Real Madrid at the start of November, it's 13 wins and a draw. They've scored 39 goals and conceded 8.
Yeah, listen, they're in top form at the minute. You can't see Celtic dropping any points at the minute, to be honest. I was surprised that they went to Ibrox and dropped 2.
Yeah. They haven't even conceded a goal in the last 6 games.
Yeah, they're watertight. The thing with Celtic is if you're keeping the ball the whole game, the other team are not only chasing it, but they're going to be knackered when they do get the ball. And the intensity that Celtic play with, the 5 substitute rules, I think, is a huge advantage. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I think for Rangers and Celtic, I think that's huge. Rangers now, you'll see them starting to get a stronger squad, looking to the bench and going, by the way, I've got 4 or 5 I can bring on. It's just as good as the ones on there. Celtic have got that right through the team, so that helps. He always makes 3 changes in about 60 minutes, and then another couple, about 10-15 minutes to go. So, he's replacing half his team. So I think it's very difficult for any club outside Celtic, Rangers, even Hearts, to compete with it at the minute.
Yeah, and of course, he's got everybody that he wants so far in that January transfer window. Since he arrived, he's spent a bit of dosh as well, you've got to understand, Ruffy, but when you look at his net spend on the players that he's brought in there, Jota, Carter Vickers, Kyogo, Starfelt, Bernabe, Abada, Johnston, O has just arrived as well. And of course, there's Juranovic, Giacomakis, Haksabanovic, Maeda, O'Reilly, Hatate, Hart, Ideguchi, Scales, Shaw, Uruguaide, Kenny, Lawal, McCarthy, Siegrist, Moy and Kobayashi. The total spend is £49.5 million.
Yeah, I saw another stat that maybe 49, but the 49 went out. So there's no any deficit there at all. He's worked his budget very, very well, and the quality he's bringing in is getting better. There's no doubt about that. Like the ones like McCarthy and that will move on. They've done their bit in the early days. So I think everybody's bursting to see this big centre forward. They want to see him. For 90 minutes, we want to see him.
There's a wee suggestion he might get the starting place tomorrow.
Yeah, but
Sunday, sorry.
Yeah, and I think like I keep saying that, all supporters love to see new players, and when you're at Rangers and Celtic and you're a striker, you've got to get in, you've got to score. You've got to score to get the fans back on your side. You can't come in and do 4, 5, 6, 7 games without scoring. So he maybe picked the game that they're going to throw him in, that he's got a chance of getting a goal. But you've always got a chance of getting a goal with Celtic the way they play.
Yeah, no surprise they're 9-2 on with some of the bookies, 11-2 the draw, St Johnstone 12-1 at home. But the reason I'm going to...
Not bad, by the way.
Well, I was going to say to you...
Bit of tenner on, you win nothing.
Yeah, well, I was going to say to you, St Johnstone, I thought, actually played some nice football against a really, really poor Motherwell side the other night there. They played some nice triangle football, they've got a bit of movement, they've got a team spirit. And everybody says, well, wait a minute, they lost 7 on the trot. They're not in a good place until they won against Motherwell. But I looked at the games that they played Celtic, Hearts, Dundee United and Aberdeen, who are poor. They played Livingston, who are a good side, and they played Rangers twice in that run of 7. So coming up now, as well as Celtic on the Sunday, they've got Dundee United, St Mirren, Hearts, Kilmarnock, Aberdeen and Ross County. I would suggest to you that Callum Davison might be looking at that and thinking, this run coming up, there's 2 or 3 clubs we'd fancy taking full points off.
Yeah, I think they've had a hard run of games. I think obviously playing Celtic again, but once they get that out of the road, Dundee United, St Mirren, Kelly, Aberdeen, the way they're playing Ross County, that's chances for them to pick up points. So, listen, I think St Johnstone are good enough to stay away for the bottom 2 or 3. Kilmarnock's home form, I think, might keep them up. And the ones you would worry about severely at the minute would be Motherwell. I think that they're in free fall at the minute. You've got the manager we'll probably speak about in a moment. He's speaking to experienced players and they're saying they're still behind them. There's obviously lots of chats going on behind the scenes at Motherwell. So they're away to Aberdeen. That's a huge game for both clubs as well. So I think St Johnstone will be fine, but I don't think I'm taking anything off of Celtic.
What have you got?
I think I went 4-0 to Celtic.
Yeah, well, let's
3-0 or 4-1.
Yeah, 4-1. What about you, Ruffy?
I went Celtic to grind out a 2-0 win.
Oh, was it a comfortable? Is it a comfortable one?
I always think St Johnstone put up a good show against Old Firm, but eventually
St Johnstone got their own fans in this one, which gives them a wee bit of a boost.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they turn up.
Yeah, I think they'll turn up, by the way, because they haven't sold the 3 heads to Celtic, or at least, unless I'm mistaken, I don't think they have. But with that in mind, Ruffy, I think I've got on the whole thing, I've got 3-0 Celtic. What did you say?
2-0.
2-0. Okay. Of course, you did mention there. We're talking about the goals. I think I'd put it together myself. Yeah, Rangers 11 games unbeaten, by the way, Tam. They've scored 25 goals and only conceded 9.
Yeah, I think both are hitting their straps now. I think Rangers are starting to get players back, Peter, and back from injury, signed a couple. And I've always said that the strength of a team is their bench, and for a long time Celtic's bench has been a lot stronger than Rangers, but they're starting to catch up now.
Okay, you mentioned Motherwell there. It's the Battle of Aberdeen and Motherwell, two sides with dismal performances of late, and of course Stephen Hamill, he looked in midweek when I was interviewing him a man under a lot of pressure, a lot of strain. He's a Motherwell legend who's so desperately wanting to do well at his club, but the pressure is on. Our reporter Kerry Pollock was there this morning.
Thanks, Peter. Well, Stephen Hamill hasn't had the best of starts to his managerial career here at Motherwell. The Steelmen sit just at the foot of the table above Dundee United, and with a visit to Pittodrie on the cards this Saturday, these Motherwell players have never been more desperate to get points on the board. And after their performance here on Wednesday night against St Johnstone, the players have reminded him that that's a performance they don't want to be associated with.
Yeah, I believe that. I believe I've got the support of the players and the people above me at the club, but I also understand that the results recently have not been good enough. It's not, and the performance on Wednesday was the most thing we were disappointed with, because that performance as a whole is something we've not seen this season. It's not as much as results could have been better. The performance levels in part have been okay, and there's been a lot of good performances where we haven't got results, and I think I'm fair when I say that, but also the performance on Wednesday is one that we cannot be associated with.
The Motherwell boss also reminded us it's been tough with players being out through injury, and he's never seen so many first team players in the physio room.
We're working on it as much as we can. Obviously the injuries that we're picking up isn't helping us at all. I mean, we've almost got a full starting 11, starting players up in the gym, up in the physio room, and there's no getting away from that. That has been something that's been a real hindrance for us this season. It's not an excuse, but like I say, we've got almost a starting 11 in the physio room, which has been a big reason why we are where we're at.
It's the poorest I've seen Motherwell. They were dire in midweek. I can understand where Stephen's coming from, though. He's trying to highlight the fact, look, the injuries. He's probably talking to Alan Burrows. He's talking to the board and saying, listen, you only have to go and look at the injury table and see how difficult it is for us to try and get a team that we want on the park.
Yeah, I would disagree with him there. It is an excuse, that your players are injured, and it's a good excuse, because if you get first team players all injured, you're obviously going to be better once they come back.
Yeah, but it doesn't cut any ice with the fans. They were giving them absolute. So I heard fans giving them pelters in midweek.
Yeah, well, any fans are going to give you pelters if you're on that kind of run. You've just got to. Hopefully, you can weather the storm and you can get some of these players back that are injured. Even 3 or 4 of them back into the team. But it's a difficult one going up to Aberdeen. I think, as you said there, I never saw them midweek. They were absolutely poor. They need an inspiration from somewhere. They need a striker to start scoring some goals, and then need to stop conceding. Not great goals, just horrible goals they're losing just now, and that's something they'll have to get out as well. Aberdeen, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, going down to 10 men, so early in that game in midweek, obviously they dug in for one each up until 9 minutes before the end of the game, thought they maybe going to get something out of the game, so I think that's a wee bit of something to build on, but there's 2 of them need to go into the game and win this.
Yeah, but I think as Stevie Hamill said, you can tell everyone that he's got the support of the players. It's all right telling everyone that, but the players have to step up, and some of the experienced players haven't been doing that.
No, they haven't. I've seen he pulled a couple off at half time the other night.
Yeah.
So, listen, he's not happy with the squad, he's not happy with the players. He's had meetings with the players, but at the end of the day, you can talk all you want. You've got to do it on the pitch, and the players are letting them down at the minute. I think Motherwell have got enough quality to go and win games, but players are not doing it at all. And they go up to Aberdeen. Aberdeen, by all accounts, played really well the other night. They got a man sent off harshly for me after 5 minutes, and they were well in the game until the last 10 minutes. So that shows you that we're fighting for the jersey, for the fans, for Barry Robson. And I think that Aberdeen will beat Motherwell. I'd fancy Aberdeen strongly, actually. And Graham Shinnie been captain as well. I think it's a big boost, for the club as well. So no, I'd fancy Aberdeen strongly in that game.
Yeah. Are you just going to read all man notes as if you're the most experienced, intelligent person?
I've seen it today. I've seen it today. And see,
he actually just does that.
I'm surprised that they never done it right away.
Yeah.
The boy Anthony Stewart's away.
Can I tell you something? I wish you were here yesterday on the programme. I got absolutely leathered by 3 of them. They ganged up on me.
Why?
Well, I said Ross McCrory for handing out red cards for that. The game's a bogey.
Yes.
He's appealed it. No, he's in. Alison's in. Richard Foster's in.
Is it a red?
Oh, it's a red. It's a red all day long.
my
Apparently,
Lord.
according to them, it's a red all day long.
I think he's trying to get out the road. He's trying to get by him.
Yeah.
You know, if you're getting into a tackle, you're trying to get by him. I think you're trying. No, it's never a red card.
Well,
Is it? Wait a minute. Is it a red card?
Well, it was a red card.
Well, they're appeal. Well, we'll find out tonight. It's on appeal.
Well, let's
and I'll be texting you. God, I hope they get the appeal. Anyway, yeah, you're right. I like. I say I like Graham Sherry. I thought he was absolutely woeful at the corner for the Hibs goal last week. He watched
Tremendous
Josh Campbell.
semi-final.
Yeah.
Against Rangers, he was outstanding in that game.
Yeah, he watched Josh Campbell run off him from a good 10 yards away. But I think everybody was poor against Hibs as far as Aberdeen were concerned. I don't think there was anybody gets out of it with 2 or 3 stars. So they've got something to prove. The home support will be there. Barry Robson, I noticed in the press, is saying, given time, he could get it right. There's talk of Dwight York. There's talk of Neil Lennon, by the way. I know that people are sounding out Neil Lennon for this job as well. It's going to need somebody who I think understands what Aberdeen is about, needs a wee bit of metal, needs a wee bit of, by the way, we're not going to suffer any of this nonsense, and change that side and get them organised.
But that would be one of the reasons that I would probably go for Neil Lennon, because we saw what he did at Hibs. He went in there, rattled a few people, you know, whether they liked it or not, you know. He got the Hibs fans really, really involved. They really bought into him, you know, wandering about the park and everything, and the gestures and the way he is. But I'm saying it all along, there's only one guy for me that ticks the boxes of what you've said, and it's Malky Mackay.
Yeah, okay. Who would you give it to?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I mean, the boy Chris Wilder's interested. I think if he's genuinely interested, I would get him.
Yeah, okay. Well, we're all disagreeing. So what did you get for the... I've got 2-0 Aberdeen.
I've got 2-1 Aberdeen.
2-1 Aberdeen.
Okay. We'll see. Give us your thoughts on it if you're a Motherwell fan out there. If you watched it in midweek, can you see them suddenly bounce back and produce something against the Dons? We'd love to hear from you on that. Hearts against Dundee United. Adam was out there at the Oriam.
Thanks, Peter. I'm outside of the Oriam for this afternoon's Heart of Midlothian press conference to speak to Robbie Neilson and Toby Civic to preview tomorrow's league fixture against Dundee United at Tynecastle. On Wednesday night, Hearts suffered a heavy 3-0 defeat at the hands of Rangers. Alfredo Morelos got the 3rd goal, and he's received a bit of criticism this week for his celebration, where he ran 20 yards in the direction of the Hearts fans and then performed a knee slide. So we got Toby Civic's reaction to Morelos' celebration.
I think we do get informed to not celebrate in front of opposing fans and to try and annoy them. But obviously, if that's what he did, then that's down to him. I can't control that. But I do think it is a rule where it is a booking if you try to like infuriate the opposition fans. I think you even see it when we played Hibs at home and we scored. We didn't celebrate in front of them, although it's easy to. We ran to one of our home end corners to celebrate with our fans. So yeah, I'm not too sure on the rules on that, but I thought it was a booking, but I don't know.
Robbie Neilson will face his former club Dundee United this weekend, who currently occupy 12th position in the Scottish Premiership. But the Hearts boss admitted he was very surprised to see them do so poorly.
Yeah, they have, which is surprising to be honest with you, because I thought, you know, when we played them up there, I thought they were doing well. I thought they'd come through that difficult period, but it's very, very tight at the bottom there. You see, I think, you know, before the games at the weekend there was about 3 or 4 teams sitting in 20 points, so it's still very compact, and it'll be a tough game for us because they know after the game and they're at night that they need to respond similar to us.
Yeah, were you disappointed with Hearts?
Oh, I thought they were terrible. I thought Rangers absolutely steamrolled them. I thought that the tactics were baffling. Listen, I understand he's going to have a go, but he'd too many attacking players on. He'd Snodgrass in the middle of the pitch. And he got absolutely overrun. He's a very good player, Snodgrass. But you need, against Rangers, you know, the players they've got in the middle of the park, they just passed through them. They got the ball wide, the 2 wide men came in into the wee gaps in between the 2 fullbacks and murdered them. And to be honest, 3-0 flat at Hearts, that could have been 6 or 7-0, easy. I mean, you look at some of the offside goals that were, listen, they were all the correct decisions, you've got to give that, but very, very marginal, and I thought Rangers were outstanding. Very disappointed by Hearts.
Yeah, the general consensus, it was Rangers' best performance of the season, Ruffy. But for Hearts, I think everybody was genuinely looking and thinking, okay, you know,
especially with the talk, Peter.
Well, he's talking about. We started off, we want to win the league. Then we start off saying, well, we want to be second. We want to try and catch Rangers, and that whole gap for me was highlighted midweek.
Yeah, I don't think the Hearts players lived up to the occasion. I think they thought they were better than what they are, but they've really come up against a really good side, you know. And we always say, if you're another team going to play Rangers and Celtic, you need to press them, you need to get in about them.
Yeah.
It was the exact opposite. Rangers were all over Hearts right for the start.
I think fans are forgiving though, Ruffy, if you put in an effort.
Yeah.
A lot of Hearts fans were booing. They were not happy with them.
Yeah, the Hearts fans have always been like that. No, they have, you know, they want to be winners.
Fans in general.
No, but no, the Hearts, I mean, even when Hearts were in the Championship, the Hearts fans weren't happy. You know, for whatever reason, they'd have to explain why that. But maybe it's the expectation. They're a massive club. They're in a fantastic stadium. They want to split the Old Firm. They want to be in cup finals. They want to be beating Rangers and Celtic, but it never happened on the night. So the disappointment's there. I'm a bit surprised if they were booing. I don't get that, you know, because they've had a fantastic season.
Yeah, I think so. I think, but you know, fans want to be entertained. As far as Dundee United are concerned, their fans are not getting entertained. They've had one win in the last 5, and that win came against Stirling Uni.
Yeah, another club that, as Robbie said there in the feed, I think you've got 4 or 5 clubs round about the bottom who there's nothing between them. They go down to Kilmarnock. Stephen Fletcher misses a penalty, crucial time in the game at 0-0. You know, if that goes in, Dundee United could possibly go and win the game. You know, Kilmarnock scored a great goal through Armstrong and they lose. So a very difficult venue to go away to Hearts and get a result. You know, I don't see it. I think the Hearts will be too strong. I think they'll be looking to bounce back in front of their own fans after a very poor midweek display, and I'd fancy Hearts to beat them.
Yeah, I've got Hearts to win 2-0. Ruffy, what have you got?
Yeah, I think Hearts will win 2-0. I don't think they'll go 3 games with it and they'll score a goal. So I think they've got firepower in there. And for me, Dundee United have just lost it completely. I don't see anybody in that team. All right, Fletcher, I'll be there or thereabouts, but they don't seem to be in there. They don't have a spark anywhere else. And at the back, they're soft as well.
Have you changed your mind on it? I mean, obviously I tipped St Johnstone at the start. I've changed my mind as we move on and you see players coming in, signings, the way teams play. I'm looking at them, I'm saying to myself, Kilmarnock and Motherwell bottom 2 positions. I couldn't work out whether one's 11th or one's 12th. What about you?
Yeah, I would agree with you too. You know, although Kilmarnock won there, and you can see what 3 points does. It just takes you out of the pressure for a week. But they've not got a goal scorer for me, you know, and if Fletcher had scored that penalty, I think that was a stonewall draw that game. Yeah. So they'll take the 3 points, there's no doubt about that, but they need to start back-to-back ones to get themselves right at it.
Yeah. What did you say for Hearts Dundee United?
2-1.
2-1, okay. Hearts against Kilmarnock. Hearts, Killie now back. I don't know where the hell I'm going there with that one. Livingston against Kilmarnock, and we sent our reporter, Kerry Pollock, down to Rugby Park.
Here at Rugby Park this afternoon, Derek McInnes has been preparing his players to take on Livingston this Saturday, and as we know, a certain Kyle Lafferty will not be present. The Killie boss feels there's a certain fascination with the striker, but his main focus is on 3 points this weekend.
It was between the club and Kyle. I've said that enough. It wasn't something we were anticipating. We're trying to get 1 or 2 things in. I wasn't expecting anybody else to leave, so the timing of that as a manager is disappointing. But listen, I respect what's happened, the decision's been made and we move on. I think there's this obsession with Kyle Lafferty, and listen, it's done. He had a 10-game ban, so we didn't really have a lot of his services a lot of the time this season anyway, and we now need to continue it. I wish Kyle well. I really like the boy, I'm really fond of him, and I'll continue to keep in touch with him, but his career is with somebody else, and I need to focus on Kilmarnock and the challenges we've got.
Yeah, but when you lose a goal scorer, obviously he lost him for 10 games, so he effectively really kind of, I think, scuppered Killie's chances of maybe gathering extra points and be further away from where they are at the moment. But he's now a seething manager wondering, well, who's going to keep scoring the goals? If it's Daniel Armstrong, he's going to have to keep firing in those rakers, especially the one in midweek.
Yeah, that was a good goal. You know, he just hit it right on the toe, he took it really, really well. But apart from that, you know, they're still huffing and puffing, you know, and again, they're like all the other teams at the bottom. They've got to string 2 wins together, you know, and if obviously they take anything out of the game at the weekend, that'll move them further away, but I just don't see the firepower there. I would hate to be in a team going into games week in, week out, and you're only scoring 1 goal, because the pressure's on you all the time, you know as soon as you concede that you're under pressure, so it's going to be a long season for all these teams down the bottom.
Yeah, Livingston 6-5, Kelly 23-10, 23-10 the draw, and all I'm saying to you is, you know, it's perhaps a reflection of all of us and our thoughts on Livingston. That, I mean, I've got Livingston to win 1-0, Tam.
Again, fancy Livingston strongly. I think that Kilmarnock have picked up 1, possibly 2 points away from home all season. Livingston at home, very strong. Fancy Livingston to beat them. I think I've went for 2-0 to Livy.
Yeah, I've went Livy as well. I think they've got a bit more firepower than Kilmarnock, so I think I've went Livy 2-1.
They've got Newbley back as well, came on against Celtic the other night. I think it'll be a big bonus for them.
Yeah, St Mirren against Hibernian. Well, interesting this, because when you're looking for players, everybody's talking about injuries and players that they don't have at their disposal. What a blow for St Mirren. Ayunga's out for 6 months now. It's a cruciate injury. I've seen that boy playing it, you know, for St Mirren, and he was a handful, Ruffy.
Yeah, he certainly was, you know, and a big strong boy, you know, and put yourself about, come up with a goal or 2, and that will be a massive miss for them. But they're on a good run just now, you know, the players will be buzzing with that result against Aberdeen. They have a good form at home. And it just remains, for me, this game's all about Hibs. It's all about what the Hibs teams turn up here if they want to take points out of this game, and they'll have to really battle for the 90 minutes because St Mirren won't give them the points easily.
Well, it's funny you saying that, because when you look at things, they're unbeaten in 3, they're 4th in the league, St Mirren. They're doing really well. He's doing a great job there, and I think it's a good signing getting Tony Watt.
Yeah, I think that Tony, we spoke about it in the show the other day, I think he knows the manager. It's a short-term deal, which I think suits him to loan at the end of the season. He's got to get himself in the team first. You know, Curtis Main scored 2 great goals the other night. Yeah. He seems to be the preferred striker at the minute, along with Grieve. So he's got to get himself in the team first. Surely got opportunities for now at the end of the season. But
you surely say to Tony Watt, okay, this is the preferred front 2 at the moment. You play off them. You've got to get him in there. He'd want every bit of armoury at his disposal.
Well, as I said, he's not going to change a winning team. So you know, they've won the last 2 games. He's not going to change it.
You don't think he'll start?
No, I don't think he will. I don't think he'll change it. You know, a great result against Aberdeen. You know, he'll keep the same team, but that's that competition. But that's what you need. You know, if you're Main and you're looking and you're saying, oh, Tony Watt's sitting on the bench, I need to produce. Yeah. And he did the other night. So it's that competition that spurs people on, and that's what St Mirren have got now in the forward areas.
Yeah. Are you impressed with him, Ruffy?
There's one player I'm impressed with, and I thought he's been good for the last 2 or 3 weeks, is the boy O'Hara.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know what happened, why he left Motherwell. I think he's been superb. He's got a lot of flair about him. He's always in the box. He's always creating things. So yeah, him, and as Tam's touched on the boy Main, he's got a new lease of life. You know, he looks a handful as well. So no, I think St Mirren are doing particularly well.
Yeah, Hibs maybe unlucky not to get all 3 points at Dingwall. Nisbet hamstring. What a blow that is. But I think I read in the Edinburgh Evening News today that Mikola Kukarevich could be coming back soon, and I think Lee Johnson likes him.
I think he's excellent, good player. I think he's been a big miss for Hibs. Big, strong boy, you know, young, got legs, can run in behind, was scoring goals. Talented player, really talented player. So I think him coming back. Matthew Hoppe obviously has just signed on loan. You know, you've got McGeady there, you've got Johan who scored in his last couple of games. So Hibs have starting to, you know, I don't think they're going to miss Nisbet that much.
Mikey Devlin on trial.
Hopefully, there's absolutely no qualms about Mikey Devlin's, you know, his quality, but it's just his fitness.
Yeah.
And if he can keep himself fit, he goes into. I think he was in at Fleetwood. I think Bruni had him at Fleetwood.
Yeah.
He never quite, you know, played enough games down there, but if he's fit, he's a talented centre half, and you know, Hibs are needing one, so it could be a good fit.
Yeah,
and I think you have to congratulate Tam for the 3 young boys who are now beginning to appear in the Hibs team.
Yeah, he's cranked it up with them, hasn't he? Well done, Tam. Anything else you want to say on that?
No, Joshua Connor, Laidlaw, been banging the drum for a while. Yep. Finally, he's getting them in.
Well done. I think Lee Johnson mentioned though, he's shipped out 11 players in the transfer window. He was happy with that. You know, Tam mentioned Hoppe, Egan Riley and Jego in there, but I think he was happy to get some players out there you just thought were not going to contribute.
Yeah, but when you go in there and you're working with them, you know, Monday to Friday, when you're a new manager, you get to know the guys who you really want to be fighting your battles, you know, and once you assess them, it might take you a month, it might take you 2 months, but after that, the problem you've got is getting them out the door, you know, because some of them would be on reasonably good wages, but if you just keep waiting and biding your time, some of them get fed up and they say, well, I want to leave. So at the end of the day, he's just hoping he has the nucleus of the players who want to play for Hibs.
Yeah, and of course the Hibs boss is not too happy at the moment with the SFA and VAR. This is what he had to say about VAR. I'll stand by my belief, and they stand by their belief, which is quite shocking to me. There's a bit of a grey area. I'd like to have more conversations with the SFA. Has it cost us points? In my opinion, yes, absolutely. But the bigger picture is, what am I coaching my players? Am I signing a bouncer to protect my goalkeeper at corners, or will the rules and the officials protect him? I want to protect my goalies and stop opposition players invading the space. It's the lack of consistency that frustrates me, and then the explanation off the back of it that infuriates me even more. And this is of course off the back of the challenge on David Marshall. I thought it was a foul.
I'd like to say it was a foul. I think 99 times out of 100 it would be a foul.
Yeah.
But I thought the goalkeeper's got to do better, and I think he's got to be stronger in that situation. Comes out to punch it, goes through his hands. You know, you can argue it both ways. I think as soon as it got, you know, did they check it in VAR? I don't think they did. So
if they did, it was really quick.
Yeah, no. So
you're not having it.
I'm 50-50 on it. I don't think it. I think you would get it. Ultimately, you would get it 99 times out of 100. But I thought the goalkeeper's got to do a lot better.
Yeah. What about you, Ruffy?
Foul all day long.
Yeah, he's going to say that.
I know. I've got a minute. You're a striker.
Species, you can't even do that.
This is the balance of the show. Yeah.
You can come out with your smash strikers.
Well, wait a minute. Dan here says Johnson is spot on this occasion. So lots of people have got their thoughts on it. You know, in fact, Tommy has said shoved in the goal. I think it's a foul.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't end up in the back of the net because he threw himself in there. He was actually physically pushed into it. You know, I get what you're saying, you know, that he could have done better by punching it, but if two people are actually barging,
can you not just flick it over the bar?
When two people are barging into you, you know, it's very difficult to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, it's all subjective, and it does make fans angry. The consistency of the decisions, there's no consistency. That's the other key issue here, which is annoying everybody. Handballs, we just don't know from one week to the next what's going to happen. You don't know if a referee is actually relying on VAR to make the decision, or whether he's actually going to show a bit of spine and make the decision off his own accord rather than being heavily influenced elsewhere. It's there to help the referee, it's there to try and get a greater percentage of calls correctly, but there is still this real anger at the way things are going week in, week out. So if you are hoping to follow the Scottish Premiership this weekend and the lower leagues in Scotland, then why not join Tam and myself 4 o'clock on Saturday. We'll get half-time reports from our reporters at the key matches, and then we get the full time and the reaction from managers and players as well. I hope you can join us. Wee bit of banter. It's kind of a relaxed Tam. You know, it's one of those afternoons where we have a bit of fun, react and interact with the people who are listening and watching on the show.
Yeah, it's great to have that sort of camaraderie between ourselves, and that
moron, isn't he?
That relationship, you know, it's just going stronger and stronger every week. So as I say,
I mean, you are getting better and better every week.
Yeah, just glad, you know, Ruffy might get squeezed out at some point. So you know, I'm just keep my face in there.
Just remember your mum said to you, stop suggesting he's ready to be off.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, right, that's fine. Okay. Anyway,
off the show.
Yeah,
not off the earth.
Join us 4 o'clock. You'll feel really, really bad.
I love him.
4 o'clock. Join us if you can tomorrow, and don't forget tomorrow morning. Ruffy and Tam are back in with Kerry. They do a preview of the games, and it's always good to get the boys chatting away with Kerry. She does the quiz, and you can find out which one of them is the most intelligent on the day. I love the fact that Kerry does the quiz. So as far as Saturday's concerned, it's taken care of, and right across the social media as well. If you've got your phone and you downloaded the app, all the interviews are on there. You'll get the managers and the players and over and above that you'll get all the stories and the breaking news as well. So it's well worthy of you downloading the app to make sure if you're out and about doing a bit of shopping or just sitting somewhere, you can get on your phone and see it as well, and you can watch the programmes. English Premier League down south, the main talking point is how are Everton going to do with the new manager in place. He's got a baptism of fire against Arsenal, and of course Sean Dyche has got to try and get something out of the Everton players that he's inherited, and he's well aware that quite a lot of people look at him and think, well, we either like him or we hate his style of football.
You know, it's the old favourite. It's easy to take the wheel of a ship in calm water. It's not so much when it's choppy waters. Well, we want the fans to play their part in that. It is choppy waters, there's no denying it. The club's not where it wants to be. But we want the fans to join in with us. We want the fans to reconnect with us. And it's easy to say, I've got to earn my spurs. Of course, I totally understand that. You know, I'm a bit of a Marmite manager anyway. Not everyone wants you. But at the end of the day, you have to earn your spurs. And I'm willing to put the hard yards in to earn that.
Yeah, for me, I think, and I might be proved wrong, I don't know, because obviously I think there are so many other different facets to where Everton find themselves. If you spend £500 million and most of your signings are woeful, then you're finding yourself in trouble. They've got a huge stadium there that we've passed by, Tam, in Liverpool, that they are hoping to open up in the Premier League. But I think they've made a good appointment in him. I like him as a manager, and any guy that can keep a side like Burnley in the top flight for so long.
Yep, I like him as well. I think he was very harshly treated at Burnley. I thought that you know, he earned his spurs, as he said there at Burnley. You know, to continue as a manager there. They went down a different direction. They're obviously doing now well under Vincent Kompany, but I think that Everton players will know what they needed. I think he will get the best out of them. And listen, it's all about man management now. I think Everton's got a decent squad of players. I think there's a lot of ability in their squad. And I think he could be the one that, you know, just gets them all together, gets the fans on side. But what a hard game to start. You know, Arsenal at home, you know, and there wouldn't be any better fixture for them, you know, playing the team at the top of the table to get something out of. And if they do that, they could kick them on.
Yeah,
but they won't.
I was just about to say, I can't see it, Ruffy, can you?
No, I can't, but he's got to go in there and give the players the belief that they can start chipping away, you know, and to get out of that. And they're not adrift, you know, there's other teams can be brought into it, the same as in our league. So, but the important thing is they need to start winning games and believe that they can win games.
Yeah, absolutely. Ian Doherty says Dyche is just what Everton need. I agree with you, Ian. I think they need somebody who just is a no-nonsense. Dan says Peter always just predicts Hibs will lose. Dan, the reason why I
did hospitality.
Well, I was going to say, Dan, I know, season ticket at Hearts as well. My God, I've had about 3 or 4 of them, and I've got a box elsewhere. But you know, Dan, the reason why, and you wouldn't know, Tam, is because I get through to Easter Road regularly to watch them.
Yes.
And they've been poor.
Yeah, they have been poor. You know, Tam's told us how poor they've been. Tam was dejected.
I don't know how Tam's told us. He hasn't been there.
No, but he's in the know. He's in the know. He knows the phone calls and all that, and his contacts and that, you know. But
I've never seen an understanding of a 90-minute game with a phone call, Ruffy. You got to go there. Oh. He's only going there when he was getting a wedge.
Eyes and ears everywhere.
Yeah, they're poor.
Oh, they're a wee bit better than what they were.
Yeah,
they were poor, really poor. But now they're believing they can get results. But
I had to watch them last season with Hibs TV, and there was 3-0 in a row.
Yeah, it was just hard going.
That was me. I was need to come into PLZ on a Saturday.
Have you changed your mind about the boy McCurdy?
I watched the game the other night. I thought he'd done well the previous week against Aberdeen. I didn't think he was great when he came on against Ross County. He started, obviously came on, but jury's out on him.
Is that right?
He needs to score. He needs to score goals. And as I said, I don't think he scored a goal for Hibs yet. So he needs one.
I do like the boy Kukarevich. I thought he had something. I think
once Kukarevich is fit, and if the boy Hopper's decent, don't think he's going to play.
Yeah, okay. Interesting times, interesting thoughts. Here's the English Premier League matches, just out of curiosity, if you were watching English football as well. So there's a few belters in there. You're just wondering, is anybody going to slow Arsenal down? Will it be Everton? Man United are taking on Crystal Palace, and elsewhere Newcastle United against West Ham looks like an absolute belter, and as well Tottenham Hotspur against Manchester City. Ruffy is a good one to watch.
Well, that's the one you'd be looking at, that everybody says when you look at Rangers and Celtic games, you look at some games that you think they're going to lose points, and down in England that would be a venue. If they were coming up against a good Tottenham team, there's a chance that they'll lose points.
Yeah, okay. Thank you to so many of you who've hit the subscribe button on our channel, which is greatly appreciated. 6 days a week there are, apart from radio shows, Tam, there are no television companies, giving it as much gusto as we are around Scottish football. 6 days a week, not only with the programming, but over and above that, we've got some unique stuff, one-to-ones, lots of great content on our channel. And I caught up with an Aberdeen legend in John McMaster, which is coming out as a one-to-one next week.
No, a lot going on, and as I said, there's nobody doing what we're doing on a Saturday as well. I think that's important, that we're concentrating wholly on Scottish football. We're seeing the results coming in, we've got reporters at the games, so it's like a kind of Scottish soccer Saturday. And I think if you're a real fan of Scottish football, you can get your fix with us on a Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course you can cane us Monday to Friday as well, which is good. We don't mind actually getting battered. We just don't like people who are professional moaners, Ruffy, who want everybody banned everywhere they go because they don't like their club getting criticised.
Yeah.
We can't go that, can we?
No, it's getting a wee bit out of hand now.
We don't care about them.
No, we don't care, but it gets a bit boring after a while.
Yeah.
Just moan.
Yeah, absolutely. If somebody
how Maggie feels.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Okay, what about the quiz? Did you get the answer last time?
I'll give you a hint. I've actually seen the answer there.
I'll give you a hint. Malcolm McDonald? No,
I'll give you a clue.
After that?
You were a kid.
What, older than that?
You were a kid.
You were a kid.
Oh, it must have been 1955.
Well, I think 1955, 56 was the last time they won a trophy. But 1926-27, rough. He's a moron, isn't he? 1926-27, last time they won the English title in the top flight. So it's been a while. And can I just say to you, Tam, if Newcastle United do in the next couple of years win that league, the people of Newcastle will be steaming for about 3 weeks.
Aye, I just want them to win the cup. They've got Man United in the final. I just think that their fans are so loyal. I seen the other night, I watched the game the other night against Southampton. The place was packed. The atmosphere was tremendous. I like Newcastle people. I think it's just an extension of Scotland, basically. Carlisle, Newcastle. I love the Geordies, and I'd love to see them get a cup.
Yeah, okay. The other thing I was going to say to you, in fact, good point by Hugh Scott. He says you're forgetting Peter, 68-69, they won the Fairs Cup. Of course, I think Bobby Munkar was playing for them then, wasn't he, Ruffy? I think he was the captain. And then I'll leave you with this one just before we give you the competition one more time before we go. It's from Jock Cusick. He says, I feel sorry for Tam. He must be the worst pundit ever. He should go and work for Amazon, in my opinion. Sorry, Tam, but it's true. So there you
Is there any? Did he expand on?
No, just.
I mean, because you're just saying everything we say, but I'd just like to know what his reasons.
What his reasons are? Yeah, I don't know what Jock's reasons are. He just thought, I'll cane Tam.
Thanks for that.
Exactly.
I'll take that criticism on board.
Yes, absolutely. Big thanks to Jock from Gorgie there for that line. But we can take getting caned as long as you're not abusive like Hibs 1991, who just joined there, and what a great time actually just to ban you. So there you are. Hey,
you don't need that one because it's Lord Duke.
No, he's just been abusive. It's just fine. No, we're only kidding. We won't ban you. Thanks for watching the programme. Hit the subscribe button. You get it 6 days a week. It's absolutely free to watch. It's uncensored, unbiased, certainly unmatched in this country. Hopefully you'll see Tam and myself here tomorrow. You can join us at 4 o'clock in Kerry. Tam and Ruffy will be in the morning to give you the Scottish Premiership preview. Thanks for watching.